Welcome to Kingdom Entrepreneur, where it's his kingdom, but your calling. Today's episode is going to be a fantastic reminder, or maybe the challenge for you to stop and really think about, why am I in business? What kind of business am I going to run? And what kind of difference can it make? Welcome, Cory Long, my friend, business owner, a heart for ministry people. He loves God and he loves people. Cory, thanks so much for joining us today. Just start off and give us 60 to 90 seconds about who is Cory Long and how did you get here?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today, Ray. I am pumped. I started in ministry almost 30 years ago, did about 17 years of full-time ministry, working in children's homes, youth ministry, college ministry. And then about 11 years ago, we decided that we needed to actually be able to retire maybe one day and pay for our kids' college and I don't know, do life differently. We had health issues with my wife's MS and other stuff. So we started a bunch of businesses, started one business, actually started one business. 3 months later, we started another business. And before long, we were running a couple of businesses. And then in the last 11 years, I think we've opened 11 or 12 LLCs. I'm not even sure, I would have to go back and look.
They start stacking up, and why not? When you
Yeah.
start one, go ahead and start a lot.
Yeah, why not? We call them entrepreneurial seizures in our world. So
I think I understand that. And so you've really, I know that recently you've sold some of your businesses and
yeah.
your focus has become more clear. Talk a little bit about that process. And then I'd like for you after that to just back up and say, you got into business, became an entrepreneur because you had a really strong motivation that was beyond just want to retire someday and want to be
Yeah.
able to send my daughter to college. You had a real burning passion and found business to be a great way to do that.
Yeah. So when we started the whole business thing, and really, we had been doing full-time ministry. I was broke. Had to literally call my dad to borrow money to be able to
Mhm.
move back to Texas. That's pretty embarrassing as a 40-year-old man. But we had been doing ministry for our whole adult career. I had no money stacked back. All we had was credit card debt. And so we borrowed money, started that first business. And the whole intent behind it was to be able to do ministry without taking a paycheck. That was the whole goal of the businesses. We wanted to find a business or businesses that we could run where we could go do ministry work, whatever that looked like. You know that we've traveled in an RV for 4.5 years and just gone to camps and churches and different places and just served. We've worked in the Well College ministry here for the last few years, just helping and serving. We've done all kinds of things in the last 11 years that gave us that opportunity to do that. But yeah, we've kind of shifted gears this year. Really kind of started that last year. Really shifted gears this year. We started an epoxy flooring company about 4 years ago, plus a few other businesses. We started another training company, built those up a little bit. And then I had some partners in one. We ended up kind of taking that business over. And at some point, we were trying to decide, what do we do with this thing? I'm not going to go lay epoxy flooring. That's not my gift or my desire. And so anyway, I sold that business this last year. We got out of another training company we were in, kind of closing down another training company that we've been a part of, doing all kinds of different things with different businesses that we've been at, all with the goal, especially with AI, the way it's changing everything, with the goal of really focusing our time and attention on teaching AI search, doing AI search. We have a marketing company still. I have a couple training businesses like the event we did last weekend with you coming in doing sales training. So yeah, so all of that focus now kind of is moving towards how do we shift and use AI in our businesses, especially local businesses.
Yeah. And I love that you do that. It's I was in a discussion earlier this week and several business leaders really talking about AI and how bad they think it is and really
Yeah.
trying to rejecting it. Like, I'm just not going to go down that road. I think there's too many unknowns and there's too much danger. And then finally I sat and listened for a while and they said, well, Ray, you're not saying anything. What do you think? And I'm just at a very base level, like it, love it, hate it,
It's
despise it,
here.
afraid of it. It's here.
Yep.
And It's not slowing down. It's not going
Nope.
to become less of
Nope.
a factor. The
Nope.
number of people who are using it, the number of people who are using it, a lot of different platforms, and the number of things that it's being used for is only going to ramp up. And so I
Yeah.
think you've got a choice. You can either sit and be afraid of it, you can stay on the sidelines, or if you're really serious about your business being effective and having some kind of hedge against it, you better jump in and learn how to use it and
Yeah.
use it as effectively as possible. And you've shared with me some of the things that AI Authority Engine that it deals with, because even how people find your business online has completely changed
Yeah.
in literally a matter of months. Talk a little bit about some of the
Yeah.
things you found there, and then what you do, the service your company provides, and the people that you've trained provide to help businesses with that.
Yeah, I think the interesting part is when you ask somebody like how if you were looking for anything from a house to a plumber to somebody to clean your pool to going on vacation to a realtor, like I'm doing training right now with the KW Realty place here in Lubbock, teaching their realtors about this because their patterns, their behaviors have changed. It's not just on the other side of this that Google's changed and AI has brought in this whole nother search traffic and all of the things that are kind of shifting things. You were talking about scarcity a minute ago, and what people don't realize is there are businesses right now that I talk to every day that are losing anywhere from 30 to 50, 60% of their traffic on a monthly basis, and it's starting to decline even more because of AI overviews, because people are going to chat first, and it's that behavioral change that's happening. It's statistically it's happening. Whether we want to admit it or not, it's happening. And not just that, they came out the other day, they were saying generative AI, meaning that AI could think for itself and kind of move through processes.
Mhm.
They didn't think that was going to happen until 2030. It's already happening now. So, I
Right.
mean, this is moving at such a rapid pace. The other thing that was very interesting that I read sometime this week, I think, or maybe last week, they're saying that at least 90 million jobs around the world are going to be replaced by AI. And that could be way more, way less. I don't know. Who knows? They're also saying that there's going to be 170 million that are going to be produced or created by AI because somebody's got to actually run this stuff, leverage it, use it, create it, give it the skills, the experience, the knowledge, the
Mhm.
data, the stuff, right? And so what I specifically have done just because of our marketing background, we inside of our agency, AI Authority Engine, our eForge group, those are all three focused now on AI. In fact, my marketing agency, we only offer a few things now. We do AI search. So we do AI SEO, AI search, AEO, GEO. I don't know. There's about 40 different names for it right now that we do. So any business that wants to get seen, not just in Google anymore, because that's only a part of the puzzle now.
Mhm.
If you want to get seen in chat and Perplexity and Grok and voice search and all these other things too, then you better make sure that you're seen everywhere. And so that's what we do. And then we offer websites and we offer ads. That's it. Like I don't offer a plethora of things anymore. It's really just AI SEO because the websites have got to be built a certain way. The ads have to be done a certain way now because of everything that's kind of happening. So if there's a local business owner or a national business, it doesn't really matter. There's a national worldwide shipper I talked to the other day. They've already seen lead flow drop by 45%.
Wow.
And that was at the beginning of the year. This is 45%. Their lead flow just tanked. And it's all because they're not showing up inside of AI overviews anymore. They're not showing up in Chat GPT or whatever. People now are getting an answer. They're not going and scrolling through and looking at
Mhm.
pretty little search volume or whatever. They're just not. They're believing whatever chat or AI overview or whatever gives them.
Yeah, and that is one of the important changes, because used to you'd get the sponsored ads
Yep.
before at first on Google or whichever search engine, and a lot of people I know, they've talked to me about it. Like they scroll past that and get
Yep.
the top ones for the area, but now it gives you that overview by AI, and it's not giving you a list or
Nope.
possibilities. It's going to give you one, and so if you're not the one, you're just
Yeah.
out. And it
Yeah.
makes such a huge difference. I think you touch on an important point, and we've kind of run by it a little bit. But why do you think it's so important? You talked about in your YRock that marketing that you've narrowed down the focus. These
Yeah.
are the things we do. I think why is that important to be very focused on some things and to be really the very best at what you can focus on and be the best at?
Yeah, I was joking around with our staff the other day. We're going to become the In-N-Out Burger of marketing, right? I'm just going to sell hamburgers. That's all I'm going to sell,
You're gonna
right?
have a verse on the bottom of the cup. Is that? Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so I think the cool part about it is any business, you and I both know this, like you've been told forever to niche down into something. I've told my students that. I've taught over 5,000 students now how to do marketing online. And so I've told this for years. We've talked about it for years. You need to become the master of something so that you become the guy or the gal that people are coming to find something. And so as we looked at this year, especially, we started working, by the way, we started working with AI SEO probably 18 months ago, back before people were
way ahead
even
of the
talking
curve.
about it, any of that, because we could see the writing on the wall. We already knew it was coming. And so our staff started working on it. We're already working on how to put AI agents into our agency. We're already using some of that now. We're already starting to develop things for, like I develop everything from custom GPTs to whatever for our staff, just stuff that's simple, but also can be pretty complex. We do it for students. I do it even for the real estate agents that I'm coaching right now. And I train other people too. So we do the same thing, right? The crazy part about all of that is not only are the search patterns changing, but the way that Google. So if you take Google, just Google. Google has Google, the old search that we all know, maps and all the normal stuff. Then they have AI overviews that you were talking about a minute ago that could be one answer, or two or three answers, five answers. You never know. Or it could be Google AI mode, which is a whole different thing. All three of those are three different things. Google's own search lady came out the other day and she said, somebody asked her, they said, so is Google going to look like Google? You know, is it going to become Gemini or what is it going to be? And she goes, yes, maybe. I don't know. I mean, that was literally her answer. They have no idea what Google's going to become a few months from now, a year from now, 2 years. Nobody knows. So you're, as a business owner, if you're not getting on board with what's happening right now as far as AI search goes, you're not gonna be an answer. And what you said a minute ago is the truth. Like if somebody was looking for your type of business, doesn't matter if it's local, national, worldwide, doesn't matter. They're looking for your kind of business and you don't show up, you're not even in the conversation.
Yeah. And I love the point you made that she figured out, like, if you're not adaptive in
Yeah.
today's world, if you can't adapt to the market changes, you're just going to miss it. It's going to run straight past you. I
Yeah.
know at the heart of what you do is really a heart of service. And you talked about some of the ministries that you've supported, but
Yeah.
share a little bit about when that realization of I can be in business, that I've got a purpose more than just making money or more than even having the lifestyle, the dream life that I thought of, but having a higher purpose. When did that come? How did that happen for you? When did it come
Yeah.
about? And what difference do you think it's made in the way that you've run your business and built multiple businesses?
Yeah. I think, that's interesting. When we started business, I think the most I'd ever made in my life was as the CEO of Carpenter Place Children's Home. I think I made 50,000 or something a year, right? And we started this business, and my goal initially was 11 years ago, hit $15,000 a month. I thought, man, if I could get to $15,000 a month, it would change my world. We'd be able to go travel or do ministry, whatever
Yeah.
it is that we decided to do. Like in my brain, that's what I thought. Now, the realization hit really quick when we hit 15 grand a month that is not how that works.
It's not
But
as much as I thought.
no, it doesn't go as far as I thought it was going to go. And so what was interesting was as we kind of grew the business, I started, and you and I were talking about this a little bit before we got on the show, like I started to realize that many of the people that I was marketing to, I was the only Christian in their lives. I was the only person that they knew that had a ministry background that did anything like that. And so I would have, it was wild, man. I've had the wildest conversations through the years where somebody will reach out to me and go, hey, you're the only minister that I know can I, and these are people that know me as a trainer, a coach, a business owner. Maybe I do marketing for them. Like they don't know me as Cory that did ministry. They just know I have a ministry background and I do ministry. Like it's kind of wild. And they would call me about everything from this happened with my family to divorce to this is something I'm struggling with my kids to I'm an alcoholic or a drug addict to I'm sinning in this way and I'm not really sure what to do, or maybe just can you explain this? I don't understand this about Christianity or about the way you believe or what you posted or I don't know, whatever. I'm very open about, just like you are. Like you look at anything that we put out, you're going to know that I'm a Christian. Like You're
Yeah.
going to know that, right? One way or another, you're going to know that. And so as we kind of look at what we've done through the years, it's given us the ability to do things that we never dreamed we'd be able to do. Like
Mhm.
we've helped buy a bus for a ministry, and we've helped do wells in Africa, and we've done all kinds of craziness through the years that we don't ever really talk about anywhere. With the money and the finances, the resources, we do a ton of nonprofits for free through our marketing company. We do all kinds of things for ministry all the time, and it's just built into what we do. And like you were talking about earlier, it looks very different than me running a youth ministry or a college ministry or the children's home, or looks very, very, very
Mhm.
different. And when I walk into church now, I'm just a volunteer, or I'm just a leader in the college ministry. It's very weird when you've been the guy and everybody knows who you are, and they all know your family and everybody knows your name. And now I walk in, nobody knows me but the kids that I work with or the leaders that I'm around, right?
Mhm.
That was a very big shift for us. And even when we traveled, we'd pull up to a church or a camp or
Right.
something, and my wife and I would literally go, "Hey, we're here for a month or 2 months or whatever." We usually stay at least a month. Use us. Most of them would look at us and go,
Yeah.
Use us? Use you for what? What are you? Why are you here?"
Yeah.
We just go around and serve. Like we'll clean toilets, we'll mow yards. I'll help you with marketing. I'll do like I preached and
Mhm.
led worship and led Bible classes and led what I. It didn't matter to us what we did.
Yeah.
Put us to work.
Have you
And
found that your enjoyment of those things has even increased? I
yeah,
think that's one of the things for me is well, somebody said, I used to wonder, like, do you just say that and do that because you're the preacher, you're the minister,
yeah,
you're an
yeah,
instructor,
yeah.
and now you just
You're
keep
getting paid
doing
to do
it,
it.
and it's like, well, no, it's who I really am. I mean, it's
Yeah,
yeah, but it seems like for me, it's even more enjoyable because there's not the pressure. It is
yeah.
literally just being a blessing to others. How have you seen that in your own life?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Like that we've since we've been here, we've married kids in our backyard out of the
Hmm.
well. I've been asked to perform other weddings. I've done all kinds of craziness here that I would have never thought. And I'm just a volunteer. I'm just like you are. I
Just
just
a
show
guy.
up and I love on the kiddos, and we teach, and I get to do whatever with the kids, and they come to our house. And like Damien was in here earlier, like I've got kids that coming in and out of our house all the time. Like it's just a normal. You and I both have mentored kids in their businesses that they've had. Which
Yeah.
honestly, if I could do that full time and that's all I did was minister and help college kids get their businesses up and running,
Hmm.
sign me up. Like I would do that all day because I get to see everything kind of come together. I get to see ministry, business, what I love, and then watching them have success. Man, it
Oh,
gets me pumped.
yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
to see that. I don't have a dog in that fight other than the fact that I want that kid to win. Man, I
Yeah.
want that kid to do really well. And so that kind of stuff just gets me juiced. And it's like you said, it's way easier because there's no paycheck tied to it anymore.
Hmm.
It's just me and God go. I literally there was a time when Michelle and I would go, okay, God, where do you want us to go? Like we'd get in our RV, and we would just show up somewhere and go, okay, like there's got to be somewhere around here we can go help. Like,
Yeah. And what an awesome thing. I do love it. And it's one of the things I really admire about the way you've built your business. We've got to spend some time one on one and then being
oh,
around each other. I get to watch it. And one of the things I really admire is you've opened up an opportunity for others who are in similar situations who've spent a lifetime, however long that is,
yeah,
working with churches or other ministries and feel like maybe there's a different way, better or not, however they frame that. And one of the things I love is that you give them an opportunity, like, hey, here's a tool. You can go do this. And so you serve them so they can serve others and they can also continue to serve in ministry. I'm almost certain that was a strategic decision for you. Why was that so important to you?
yeah. You've been down this road before when you were working with churches. Most of the time, not only were we broke, but like all the money that I made at the children's home, it all went back in the children's home. Like we struggled to make any money to do anything other than just there were times with Michelle's MS and her health that an extra $500 was like $1 million to me
Yeah.
because $500 we didn't make any extra. There was no extra.
Yeah.
There was this month at the end of the money, and so we had to kind of figure that out. So when we got into this and we started having some success at it, and I noticed that if someone was willing to do the steps, it's kind of, we were talking about Mark earlier, one of my students, and it's interesting. Mark and I were talking the other day. He comes out of decades of ministry work, preaching, pulpit preaching, youth ministry, all that stuff. And he told me the other day, he goes, it said it's pretty interesting when I actually do what you tell me to do. Like if I just follow whatever you tell me to do and I go do it, I have success. And he said, it's the wildest thing. And I'm like, go figure.
Yeah,
Right?
imagine
Go
that.
figure. And so it's cool watching him go from thinking that ministry in the context of being paid staff, blah, 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 is the only way to do this, to now he's formed a business where he's already had a 5-figure month. He's probably going to have way more than that. He just quoted almost $600,000 in business this last week, just off of the sales competition that we did this last weekend with you. And so it's fascinating to see these guys their eyes start to open up and go, oh my goodness, I can create. And I think this is what hit me after we started having success. I can create the lifestyle that I want to do the things that I feel like God's called me to go do. And so I know he's equipped my wife and I to work with teenagers, college students, whatever. Like we've always done that. It's what we enjoy. We can go into any environment and we just love it. I don't love as much working with adults. I'm kind of past the little guys, and we've already done that. I did my VBSs and all that stuff years ago. Man, but the college students, love them to death. So much fun, so much energy, so much they'll just ask you the craziest questions. You never know what's going to come out of their mouths. And it's just a blast, right? And so when I look at kind of the direction that we've gone and I see these guys struggling to pay their bills, I know that if they just had an extra grand a month, it would completely change their whole lives. Like their family could take a vacation instead of, like me, when we were doing youth ministry, my vacation was staying an extra day at camp, or like that was literally that was my vacation, right? And now I'm sitting here thinking, how can I help these men? So as soon as we started having success, I was like, okay, how do we do this? I initially started a training group. And then that training group I gave away for free. I thought, man, this is this cool idea. This is going to be great. Everybody's going to love it. It's going to be crazy successful. And I figured out as soon as you do anything for free, there's no value. Yeah. And so I gave it away to a bunch of ministers. None of them used it, and decided, okay, I'm going to have to charge for this. And then once I started charging for it, I started seeing success. And then boom, we started digital storefronts 7 years. I don't even know now, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. We've had 2,200 plus students from around the world come through that, missionaries, church leaders, people that just want to get back to their community, moms, dads that were like, look, we'd like to not have to go to the daily grind for 6 days a week and not have anything for our kids or our family or anything. And so that shifted really quickly. Now we do it through AI Authority Engine, the eForge group, same kind of stuff, just a tactic or a skill set to teach them, hey, if you go do this thing, just like Mark will probably have, Mark will have a 6-figure year this year. He will have a 6-figure income this year. Like just knowing what he's already quoted, knowing his approach, knowing what he's doing, he's going to make 6 figures this year. Just got out of ministry last year. Just a new skill set, never done this before in his life, never sold anything before in his life, never ran a business in his life. Like it's fascinating to watch. And that kind of stuff just juices me. Because again, like we talked about, ministry can be done all kinds of different ways. Right. I know if I gift enough to these guys and get them to success, guess what it's going to do? We're going to go change some lives, man. Yeah. These guys are going to pour into their ministries and their nonprofits and their communities and their families. And before long, now it just flows.
Yeah. You in that, you several things I thought were really good. You talked about extra money. And I've started saying, actually it's been for about a year and a half, there's no such thing as extra money. Yeah. Like, there's always a place. It's more than what I had. Yeah. But there's no extra. And the ability to do that, I think it's one of the limiting mindsets. And we talked about this some in the challenge last weekend. Yeah. About we have this mindset that just kind of holds us down and says, well, I can't do that. You might be able to, or somebody else could, but not me. And then to have that taken off, for me, as you were talking, I remembered distinctly the day I deposited a check from one client that was more than my first job in ministry, more than I made the entire year. Yeah. And I looked at that check and it was close enough that I went, wait a second. Yeah. They just paid me more than I got paid for an entire year.
Yep.
And then the really, and that was a cool feeling. But then the really cool feeling was, we purchased a camp. It was it's
Yes.
been super important in my life. And I laughed when you said, I stayed at extra camp. Somebody asked me this morning, like, how important was that camp to you? And I'm like, I cannot tell you the number of weeks I've spent there, but when we're broke, that was the only place I could go
That's
get
right.
away in the mountains and stay for
That's
free.
right.
So we did some of that. But just Wednesday, I was in a discussion with our board, and like, if you don't think running a Christian camp that I guess
Oh,
has never made money, will
yeah.
require a lot of resources, you've just
None
not
of them
tried
make
it.
money.
And there was some serious concern. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And just it wasn't arrogance, but this confidence of going, money won't be a problem.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. And it wasn't necessarily like I think some of that's going to pour through me and it's going to
Yeah.
pour through others, but just to say, that's possible. And since I think it's one of the cool things to say, since I know I'm doing this for God and it's something that's important for the people of God, God's going to bless it and He's going to open it up. And I don't know exactly how that looks. I don't know
Yep.
exactly the way that's going to turn out, but I do know Psalm 24 says the whole earth is the Lord's and everything in it.
Yep.
And then later in the Psalms, he says he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. And it's not like on the 1,001st hill. Well, those aren't his.
Yeah.
He's just saying,
Yeah.
I've got everything. Everything you
Yeah.
need, I've got it, and I'll provide it. You just, and this is the way Jesus said it, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and he'll take care of all the rest of it. And so speak to a little bit about how that's been important for you to go, I don't have to live with the pressure. I just know he provides all the time.
Yeah. We've, if you run a business, you and I were just talking about this before we got on the call. If you run a
Mhm.
business, you better be ready because this is not for the meek, man. This is, you got to understand there are going to be days where you want to throw your computer through the window and you want to just say, hey, look, man, I'm done. I'm done. And those are the days that you load your fishing gear up and you go to the local pond and you spend some time wetting a hook, right?
Yeah. That's if you
Like
don't
that.
live in Lubbock, Texas. It's hard to
That's
pull
right.
off here.
That's right. Yeah, no, so I'll share a few things because I think this is really important because we always talk about our wins, right? We always talk about, yeah, man, look at me. Like I remember, like you're talking about, I remember the first month I made more in a month than I'd make in a whole year as a children's home CEO. I was going, are you kidding me? Like this is possible? I didn't even know this was a thing, man. Like when did somebody should have told me this? Like this should have been like
Yeah,
in the
I'd love
book
to know this earlier.
yeah. Yeah. But there have been times when we landed this massive client a couple of years into our business, 45,000 a month. Most of that, it was for SEO services. I had ramped up to 18 employees. We had offices in multiple locations. Like we were going all in. I had never ran a business like that. I was a minister guy. Like I'd never done this. And all of a sudden we've got employees and I've got payroll and I've got health insurance and we're doing great. Like with this client, as long as we got this client, we're doing great. What Cory didn't realize is Cory needed to go find another client like that, or at least something to start replacing that client just in case they left.
Mhm.
They decided to sell about 2 years in.
Mhm.
A month out, we had a contract with them that renewed every year. A month out from the renewal, they were going, we're all in with you, blah, blah, blah. We want to do business with you. Everything's great. Don't worry about the renewal. 2-3 weeks out, everything's great. About a week out, I get an email, not even a phone call. I get an email. Hey, we've decided to go ahead and stop the contract for this coming year because we're going to sell. We need to cut our expenses so we look really good for the buyers, blah, 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 blah. And so what was one of the biggest things on their expenses?
Mhm.
Marketing. And so they cut the marketing budget. What's wild is within a month to 2 months after them cutting the marketing budget, going to the table with this company, their sales started to tank because
Yeah,
nobody was
this
doing
is a
marketing
great
for them
look.
anymore. Duh. And so they ended up actually not even being able to sell to that client
Oh,
or that
wow.
person that had come in. It was a wild story. But Cory all of a sudden now has 18 employees, health insurance costs, payroll,
Mhm.
all this stuff, right? Offices that I've got to figure out how in the world do I pay for all of this? And I don't have this big old huge client anymore. And my ministry background said, oh, well, we're just going to figure this thing out, right?
Right.
That hurt. Like I made some not good I learned a lot through that. Like you learn a lot through those struggles. We struggled for about a year trying to figure out what do we do now? Our resources tanked. I had to let staff go. There were staff that, I mean, I hurt deeply to
Yeah.
let them go. And there's a couple of them that I don't even, we're not even friends anymore. Like
Yeah.
because of the situation that happened with all of that. It hurts me to know all of that. And so you got to be able to make hard decisions, fast decisions. You got to be able to take the blows when they come, because
Mhm.
when those dollars go away, because there's nothing guaranteed in this sucker.
No.
Like you can go open a business, it can be cranking all kinds of money. We've been there. We've got a company that was doing $3 to $5 million a year, and all of a sudden the spigot just turned off.
Yeah.
Like it just went from 3 to 5 million to nothing, like overnight. And
Yeah.
I was going, wait, what just happened? A huge part of my income, all of a sudden, gone.
Speaking of being adaptive. Yeah.
Now I've got to figure out what do I do, right? And
Right.
so I think that's the thing that this last year, and this is a growing experience, man. I don't have all the answers. I coach other people because I'm a little further along than they are, but they're still way
Mhm.
further along people than me. And I learned every time you and I sit down, I learn something from you, and I love that. I love iron
Well, it
sharpen
goes both
iron.
ways, I promise.
Well, I love it because
Yeah.
it forces me to think differently. It forces me to level up. This what you did the other day with identity. If anybody's looking for
Mm.
somebody to come in and speak at their event, you guys need to hire Ray. Like he
Thank
did an amazing job for us and talked about identity and talked about the beliefs got to be there before you ever have the sales conversation. The sales,
you. Yeah.
you can teach all kinds of tactics, strategy, blah, 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 blah. But this stuff over here is what matters. And
Yeah.
we can talk about it all day long, but until they see it, and I think a bunch of our students got it. I think they got it, right?
Mm.
And
Mhm.
they're now walking away with a better identity and all that. And so as you run a business, you're going to have those up downs. And when you have those downs, you've got to decide, is this something that I really want to do?
Right.
Because it'd be just as easy to walk away and
Yeah.
just go,
Yeah.
see ya.
I don't
I'm
know. I
done.
know so many business owners and business leaders, and I don't know a single one that doesn't have a day that they go,
That's
could I
right.
just get a 9 to 5? I
That's
mean,
right.
maybe just for a week or two. I just want show up, do my thing, and then leave and be done. Of course, the rest of that is most people who are business owners, leaders, especially founders, are not built to do that very long. Somebody asked me recently, Ray, do you think you're employable? I'm like,
Nope.
no, nobody wants me working for them. I'm like, I
Nope.
will serve you and I'll do that gladly, but I'm not very good at
Yeah.
somebody else being the boss. Cory, spend just a moment or two, or actually as long as you want to, talking about your eForge and why you
Yeah.
started that and the way it really serves people. Because you were talking about marketing and somebody going, hey, we're going to cut our marketing because we want to make ourselves more profitable. And it's like,
Yeah.
wait, don't you understand that it was marketing that made this possible? And the same thing's true for coaching. I'm sure you run into it as
Yep.
well. People go, I just can't afford to spend that much on coaching. And I'm sorry, it's not an expense. This is like the most important investment you can make is
Yeah.
in you and in your business skills. So talk to us a little bit about eForge and what you do in that and some of the value that it's brought to your coaching clients.
Yeah. I think so. It's kind of interesting with what I have trained in the past. It's always been a tactic or a skill set. So I've taught somebody, here's the hammer, here's the nail, go beat that sucker, make some money from it. This is like the vehicle to go use to do it,
Hmm.
right? So I would teach a particular model or strategy or a tactic, and that's what I taught, which was great. What I started to see is most of the business owners that I would teach how to do that, they had no idea how to be a business owner.
Mm.
They didn't know how to go run the business. They didn't know financials. They didn't know models and systems. They didn't know processes. They didn't know, okay, like you just said, like what should my marketing budget be, and how much should I spend on it, and what should I expect out of that? And so I started to see these gaps. You and I both have spent, I'm sure, multiple six figures on coaches, like
Yeah.
because we both believe in them. And I think I've gotten something from every coach that I've ever had. I look at that and I go, okay, we've got to fill these gaps somehow. And
Hmm.
so I started to see business owners even start to have success, and they would get a little ways down the road. They'd maybe hit 10K a month, 15K a month, I don't know, whatever it was. And then they would just plateau and
Wow.
and and they would just stay that way. I saw it in my
Hmm.
own life. Like my CFO and I looked back years ago, and it felt like I was growing, but my revenue was the same every year. And it was weird. Even though I had added businesses and done stuff, I still was making about the same amount of money
Yeah,
because my thermostat was set. Like it was
exactly.
just kind of set right there. I needed a coach to come along, and Keith Cunningham, I love what he says, which he's the real rich dad, right? Keith
Uh-huh.
Cunningham is. He talks about how you can't smell your own bad breath. Like you need somebody to tell you you need a tic tac, right? You need somebody to tell you. And so we need a coach to be able to come along. So I started eForge almost a year ago this month.
Hmm.
We started eForge for students, and I've got contractors. I have guys that do metal buildings and roofs and concrete, and I have guys that are involved in everything from car sales to guys that are still doing full-time ministry to all kinds of different things
Hmm.
that come into eForge and they want to grow their businesses. And so we kind of rotate through a few different things, but what I have found through the last year and a half that has filled those gaps is teaching them how to be business owners, how
Hmm.
to own that identity, how to be an owner, not an operator. Those are the
Right.
kinds of things that we really focus our time and attention on. And then we have like this was kind of our first, I guess, regional kind of small mastermind event. We're going to have one of those a quarter, bring people together. We're going to teach some things very specific. They're learning about AI. They're learning about what I'm learning. Like as I learn it, I teach
Hmm.
it. And
Yeah, learn
so
a little, teach a little.
that's right. So this has kind of been interesting because I've never had a group where I could do that with really. It was always that one tactic, the one
Mm.
strategy, right? With this, I'm telling them my goods, the bads. I'm telling them what I'm doing outside of this. We're talking about investments. We're talking about things that I do to create extra income. We're talking about all kinds of things that I never was able to teach inside of my other groups that I had. And so it's kind of an overall encompassing group coach. And then I do a few one-on-ones. I don't give away my time very often.
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't say giveaway. I don't charge for my time very often one-on-one, but I do have a few one-on-one slots that I open up just for people that I want to work with, people that I
Hmm.
feel like they're excited, they're pumped, they're going to do what I ask them to do. I'll bring them on as a one-on-one student, but not very many of those. But dude, I love the group coach just
Oh yeah,
because the
it's so
students.
much fun.
Oh, I
And
see
I
students
love the
go from
one-on-ones too. It's
me
yeah,
too,
it's just
me too.
limited. You only have so many
Yeah,
hours, and yeah.
but
So
I
Cory,
love to
thanks so
see
much
that
for
success.
joining me today. I'd like for you to address two different people in the audience today.
Mm,
Suppose you're talking to somebody who's been in the church world, some kind of ministry, whatever, church, parachurch, which we've got the weirdest terminology, but I think it still communicates. But somebody there who says, you talk about doing this as ministry, but I don't know that that's possible for me. And just some of the things that were important for you as you transitioned from
yeah.
that typical model to the way you live your life now. And then follow that up with talking to a business owner who's not sure that, like, I've got my business life and then I've got my faith, and those two don't always fit together.
Yeah.
Address both of those as we finish up today's podcast.
Yeah, I think if I know for me coming out of ministry work, I really had to shift my identity. I was always the youth minister, the children's home guy or whatever, and I preached, I taught, I did that kind of stuff
Hmm.
everywhere, and I also gave my time away freely because that's what we're taught to do in ministry. And so when I transitioned to a business owner, it the first year and a half, I just wanted to help everybody.
Yeah.
And that was great. There's nothing wrong with that. You just don't make any money at it. And so it was, and the whole point of owning a business is to make money. It's not a hobby. Like you got to pay your bills.
It seems obvious, but it's
Yeah, seems
missed so
obvious.
often.
It's hard. And
Yeah.
so if you're looking at transitioning, either you're already in ministry and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about getting out of ministry to do something, or you just want to tack on something. We have a ton of guys that still do ministry full time
Hmm.
that make six figures a year just off of this kind of business. I
Right.
can name multiple ones right now that do ministry full time. This is a part time gig for them, 10, 15 hours a week. They do AI SEO or they do some kind of marketing and they make six figures a year off of that. If that's you, then I would say make sure that you realize what you're getting yourself into. You got to want to own a business, and you're going to have to sacrifice some time to grow that thing.
Hmm.
People just don't realize. I think they get into it thinking there's a kind of magic button. There is no easy button for this kind of thing. You're going to go spend the time. You're going to put the effort in. You start to have to change your identity as you go through this because you become a business owner.
Hmm.
And as a business owner, guess where the buck stops, man?
Yeah.
Stops with you. And so I would say for that guy that's looking at something, totally possible. You can create the lifestyle and the income that you want. There's no limit, there's no ceiling.
Yeah.
That's like you can make as much or as little as you want, and you can create whatever you want. And
Hmm.
so if you want to be able to create, I've got guys that they're doing mission work full time. This is just the way they pay for it. So they don't have
Hmm.
to go fundraise. I've got others that they've built church buildings. I've got others that have done all kinds of craziness for their local nonprofit. I have ones that have started their own nonprofits just from
Right.
the funds from the businesses. Right. So if that's you, would love to talk to you because that's what I did. That's the whole point of me getting into this in the first place was to try to do that.
Hmm.
If you're a business owner and you're and you're trying to decide like where is this thing going to go, I think one of the things that fascinates me as I've stuck with this through the years, it's in that day to day boring, competitive, like that consistency of
Uh-huh.
doing that thing over and over again that you know you need to be doing that you're not doing, the conversations you need to have that you're not having, the people you need to reach out to that you haven't reached out to. It's in those things that move the needle faster, bigger, better. And I think coaching, whether it's something like eForge, something like what Ray does, we all need coaches.
Oh
We
yeah.
need somebody to come alongside us and go, hey, this is where you're struggling. Great. Let me help you because I'm not in the middle of the mess. I can help you to see things that you can't see. I can
Hmm.
help you to put things in place. I can help you to put foundations in place. And I heard a stat the other day. What is it? 10 out of 12 businesses that are for sale right now don't ever sell.
Yeah.
10 out of
Yeah.
12. Like
It's
and there's millions for sale right now.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
that's a lot of business owners that have thought they were going to get somewhere, exit a business, and live the life of freedom after that. Then they get there and they can't do anything with it. So
Yeah.
let's fix that. Let's go get the business to where it's sellable or whatever it is, because we're all going to exit the business at some point.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Want to
we
or
exit
not.
it, yeah, we
Yeah.
whether it's on our own or not, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I think we just need coaching. I think we need somebody to come alongside us and say, hey, man.
Uh-huh.
I know you're struggling today. Let me help you. Like,
Yeah.
I know that you need these systems, processes in place. Let me help you. And then I also get those great texts back from, man, I just quoted almost $600,000, right? And
Yeah.
it makes my day.
You go,
So,
yeah.
yeah, thank you
This
for
is
having
awesome.
me on today. This has
Oh
been
no,
awesome.
thank you so much for joining, and you gave so much wisdom and shared so much of your experience. And I love that you were like, I can also tell you some things not to do that I learned the hard way. And what you said about coaching, I noticed several years
Yeah.
ago, there's not a single professional
Nope.
that doesn't have a coach.
Nope.
And
And many
then
of them have many coaches.
yeah, and so I've had other coaches. I'm like, hey, who you being coached by right now?
Yeah.
Because I'm always looking to, okay, this one's good, but I want to take another
Yeah.
step. And they're like, what are you talking about? You don't have a coach? Like you want people to pay you as a coach, but you don't have a
Yeah.
coach? And you and I've talked about it. I've got multiple right now because for different tracks and different specific things I want to grow in. But thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that everyone who joined, whether you're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're getting the podcast, that you got something really beneficial to this. I also believe that not only you got something from it, but maybe you thought of someone like they need to hear this. They need to understand this. I want to encourage you to share it. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast somewhere, I'd really appreciate it. It'd make a difference. It gives us an opportunity to serve more people because that's the way that thing works. Is the more subscriptions and the more comments you give there, it gets more traction. And we really do this to serve. Like it's an expense, not an income. It's not a
Yeah.
revenue for me right now. That wasn't the goal. But thank you for taking the time and joining Kingdom Entrepreneur, where it is His kingdom and it's your calling. And He's called us to make a difference in the lives of people and to use business to do it. Have a great day.